The Electoral Commission has declared 7 out of 9 outstanding parliamentary election results for the NPP. The collation, which happened today at the EC Greater Accra Regional Office, is expected to resolve all pending issues over the 9 constituencies, including some 6 that the EC had sent to court. James Aveji has all of the actions in the following report.
The Electoral Commission has successfully recollated and declared the result of 7 out of 9 constituencies that were expected to be recollated here at the Greater Accra Regional Coalition Center. Those 7 include Isawam Edrejiri constituency, Obuasi East, as well as Okaikwe Central constituencies. The rest are Techiman South, Tema Central, Ahafua North and Ahafua Southwest constituencies. All of those 9 constituencies have been declared for the NPP parliamentary candidate. In the early hours of the coalition, the NDC's parliamentary candidate for Tema Central, Abby Bright, and her counsel, Roxanne Nelson Dapamakpo, were here engaged in a heated argument with the EC director of elections for Tema Central, insisting that the EC recollate all of the polling stations of the constituency.
Mr. Tafiamako, we are not doing it. Do it afresh. If you do it afresh, we are not continuing. The process, what happened was an illegality. So do it afresh. So we will not be part of this process. If you want to continue to buy myself, we will not be part of this process. Thank you very much. And Mr. Robbie, I'm putting you on notice. The court didn't say that go and start from where you left off. You didn't leave anything off. The court said the process was irregular. So stand up. You know it. You are not the returning officer. Stop interfering in this process. I am not interfering in this process. You, the very corrupt man, you be having a conversation with NPP people. This is not do whatever you want. Yes. Send it to the whole world. It means they have decided to do whatever they want, even though the court has given clear directives. The court says recollate. We didn't use that phrase. The court language said recollate. To recollate means retabulate. You want to tabulate from where you left off. What did you leave off? You claim, you petition that the process was bad. So the whole process should be annulled.
What action are you taking on this?
I am leaving the process because now he's deciding the process according to his whims and caprices. He doesn't want to obey the law.
If a candidate emerges out of this, would you accept it as a party?
Why would this be acceptable to me?
Even if the NDC's candidate?
Why would this be acceptable to me? What is bad? X in the healing fix. You can't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. You understand?
The returning officer for the Tema Central constituency then announced that he will not proceed with the coalition unless all parties are present for fear of threat on his life.
Both parties must be present. We arrive at a compromise because that very day, the threats that went on my family till today, I can't risk my life.
So you're scared that if you go ahead without the input of the NDC, your family would be at risk?
Not my family, even myself. Hope you heard what happened in Tema, the regional police headquarters. So it's okay. I don't want to continue. It's okay.
In the same fashion, the returning officer for Ablekuma also abandoned the process midway, insisting that the political parties need to present their pink sheet before he can continue with the process.
We have 62 outstanding police stations, 25 of them NPP has tendered in. NDC must also bring their pink sheet for us to confirm those 25. If we are able to do those 25, we will be left with 37. As it stands now, we are left with the 62 polling stations not collated.
Are you finishing and declaring today?
No, I'm not declaring today. I'm referring everything to the commission for the commission to take its own decision. I'm done with my work because I cannot continue with this recollation again.
After a long pause of coalition, Tema Central as well as 6 other constituencies have been recollated and declared by the Electoral Commission.
With the power vested in me as the returning officer for Techiman South, I therefore declare Martin Ajay Mensah Kosa as the MP-elect for Techiman South.
Whoa!
I have the honor to declare Patrick Boachi Yadom of NPP as the parliamentary member of parliament elect for Boise East.
And I said, look, we need to find a way to deal with this particular problem because it's a problem. It is criminal. And what we've said to them is that the crime scene that is currently happening at the EC, we cannot continue to support it. This is wrong. This is criminal. It requires a full state investigation and people need to be prosecuted for quickening of the numbers. We cannot continuously sit in this country and allow the NPP and the EC and the police to come to create a collusion and continue to create the crime scene that they've created. This is not acceptable and we are not, as Okaiko Central, going to accept it. No, this is not acceptable. So the point is that in this particular instance, we are standing by the initial declaration that has been made. Eventually, on December 6th, we'll see how we proceed with these things.
You go to Parliament for,
Of course, and for us, we duly believe from the PCs and all the coalition that we've done that we've won the election.
We can listen to Director of Elections for the Electoral Commission, Mr. Benjamin Banobio, on what decision the EC will take on the outstanding Dom Kwabena as well as Ablekuma North constituencies.
It was decided that we come here today for the political parties to bring the hard copies to authenticate that results before the commission will accept that soft copy result that was used. Incidentally, when we came, the political parties could not provide the hard copy to authenticate that result. So that issue has still not been resolved. And therefore, we will also refer that issue to the Electoral Commission for them to make a determination. And so for the 7, we are done with them.
You are the EC. How soon are you taking a decision on this too?
As I indicated, it is management decision. We, as operatives, have been here to work. The results will be taken to management for management to decide on them. So I cannot say today or tomorrow, but I don't think it will be too late for that.
The Electoral Commission has been able to declare 7 out of the 9 outstanding constituencies. Meanwhile, a case is currently pending at the Supreme Court, which was filed by the NDC, intended to actually halt the coalition process that just ended. We'll see how that also goes at the Supreme Court. From the EC coalition room here at the Greater Accra Coalition Center, my name is James Savage for Joy News.
Meanwhile, the NDC's parliamentary candidate for the yet-to-be-declared Ablekuma North constituency, Irabna Obing, stormed out of the Electoral Commission's Re-collation Center in protest, declaring she would not be part of what she described as an illegality. She insisted that she had legitimately won the Ablekuma North seat. Maxwell Baba, who was stationed outside the EC's office, reports there was heavy security presence outside throughout the process.
And soldiers, a combined force of immigration, fire service, the police, soldiers and other security agencies have been standing behind those crash barriers since morning, and they continue to change shifts. Now, two water cannons are also strategically, positioned behind where they are at this point. If you do not have accreditation, you will not be given access to the Electoral Commission's premises. We've seen quite a number of people being turned away because they did not have the special ID card, the special accreditation that would give them access to the place. The police and the security personnel here are leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that this re-collation exercise is done in a peaceful atmosphere. I have with me here Irabna Obing, the NDC's parliamentary candidate for Ablekuma North. Let's speak to her.
Today, you asked both sides to come in for re-collation. If you know you don't have pink sheets, why are you inviting us for re-collation? If I, on the NDC side, provide you with pink sheets, would the NPP take it? The NPP is providing you with pink sheets. If you knew, in the spirit of fairness, you wanted us to be party to this coalition, you would have waited for the NDC side to be present, so that in the presence of all 3 stakeholders, we do the coalition. When we got there, they had already collated almost 30 polling stations, all to the advantage of the NPP. And this is where we had to come in and ask the EC what was happening. The EC returning officer, he said one of their directors gave him the go-ahead to accept the NPP pink sheets and use it for collation. How do we run an electoral system this way? By the grace of God, hard work, support from the good people of Ablekuma North, I won the elections fair and square. I won this election.
With all the polling stations.
Oh boy, I won this elections fair and square. This is a constituency.
If you're asked to produce the evidence, what evidence are you going to do?
Collated. The results were collated, and we were still in the process of collating the results. I was ahead of her with over 1,000 votes. And this is where they started agitating, because they knew it wasn't going in their favor.
Now you've abandoned the process at the Re-collation Center. What's going to be your next line of action?
We have not abandoned the process. What we have done is to draw the attention of all well-meaning Ghanaians that what is happening at the regional office is an illegality, and it is criminal. Every leader in this country must take key interest in what is happening, because it could happen to anybody. So we haven't abandoned it, but rather
would you go back?
What for? It's a crime scene. What am I going to do there? Commit murder? This is dangerous to society. You see, let's not encourage this. It has to stop. It has to stop. We were in court yesterday. The judge took no evidence, nothing, and then declared that we should go and recollate. We are here. Why don't we go through the recollation process in fair means, so that everybody, even when you lose, you accept that I've lost on good grounds. But we come in, and the EC that is supposed to be neutral or be to play the referee is now taking pink sheets from the NPP side to collate results. I mean, nobody will take this.
So finally, what's going to be your next line of action in case it does not go in your favor?
Oh, the party has, excuse me?
In case it doesn't go in your favor, what's going to be your next line of action?
Arabna Obin won Ablekuma North parliamentary elections, and she has been declared. So far as I'm concerned, the returning officer, with the evidence in front of him, declared Arabna Obin as the MP-elect for Ablekuma North.
My colleague Maxwell Agwagwa there having a conversation with Arabna Obin. Well, the National Democratic Congress has rejected the recollated parliamentary election results announced by the Electoral Commission on December 21, 2024, describing them as illegal, manipulated, and an assault on Ghana's democracy. In a strong-worded statement, the NDC accused the EC, led by Jane Mensah, of undermining the integrity of the electoral process and betraying the will of the Ghanaian people. The party also expressed concerns over alleged collusion between the EC, the police, and the military leadership to manipulate results and intimidate citizens, labeling this as a threat to the country's democracy and stability. On the screens now is a copy of that statement by the NDC, and it reads: the National Democratic Congress categorically rejects the purported recollated parliamentary election results declared by the Electoral Commission for a number of constituencies today. It goes on to say, these results declared under questionable and illegal circumstances represent a blatant assault on Ghana's democratic principles and a betrayal of the sovereign will of the Ghanaian people. It is abundantly clear that the Electoral Commission, under the leadership of Jane Mensah, has consistently chosen a path of illegality and impunity by engaging in actions that deliberately undermine the integrity of Ghana's electoral process. The EC has compromised its mandate and deepened public mistrust in the institution. The NDC strongly condemns these undemocratic practices and reminds all involved that electoral crimes have no expiry date and that the date of reckoning would come. Jane Mensah and her team appear determined to plunge this country into chaos to satisfy the interests of their political benefactors. However, the NDC, under the leadership of President John Dramani Mahama, is equally determined to uphold and safeguard Ghana's democracy. We commend our rank and file for heeding to our call to maintain peace and avoid confrontation with security forces deployed to intimidate and oppress innocent citizens. The NDC cannot overlook what seems to be the troubling collusion between the Electoral Commission, the police, and the military leadership, this unholy alliance has facilitated the unlawful manipulation of election results and tarnished the credibility of these institutions, which are critical to the survival of our democracy. Furthermore, the EC's deliberate disregard for a stay of execution order served against them is a flagrant violation of the law and a clear indication of their contempt for due process and the rule of law. This illegal action underscores the EC's complicity in a broader scheme to undermine Ghana's democracy and disenfranchise the people. We also express our disappointment with the National Peace Council and other moral bodies whose silence in the face of these developments speaks volumes. The NDC calls on the international community to take note of the dangerous and unlawful actions of the Electoral Commission. These actions pose a significant threat to Ghana's peace, stability, and democratic progress. Let it be known that the NDC will not relent in its fight to defend the will of the people and ensure justice prevails. They go on to say, we caution the government and the EC to desist from further attempts to undermine Ghana's democracy. The NDC will continue to mobilize its supporters and rally Ghanaians to resist any attempt to overturn the people's mandate. Well, that's a statement from the NDC. Now, government business for the first quarter of 2025 may be crippled as the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, failed to present the expenditure and advance of appropriation before the House went on recess on Friday. While this mini budget would have funded government, state machinery, and paid salaries ahead of the new John Dramani Mahama-led administration presenting a substantive budget before the House. But the process has been dodged with broken down negotiations over outstanding government business. The NDC have refused to approve. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante gives us a wrap of what happened in Parliament on Friday.
To adjourn the sittings of this meeting till the 2nd of January 2025. Honorable members, the sittings of this meeting have been adjourned to the 2nd of January 2025. It is so declared.
The worst expected outcome has occurred. There will be a government shutdown from 1st January 2025 because Parliament has been unable to consider and approve the mini budget for the first quarter of next year. The Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, was expected to come to Parliament and present that critical information. It would have been referred to a committee for consideration, and then a report would have been laid back on this floor, and then a vote would have ensued. But for the last 5 days, we've been expecting the minister to show up. He hasn't. The sticking point is that the majority, the NPP side, have been seeking to get some trade-offs from their colleagues in the NDC to at least allow this mini budget to come. That trade-off had not been agreed, and because of that, entrenched positions has led to the Speaker adjourning the House to 2nd January. The NPP side, led by their leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, expected their NDC colleagues to come to the table and agree to approve some $350 million worth of tax waivers, to approve $250 million loan and another €140 million to buy ships for the Ghana Navy, as well as approve 2 persons nominated by the president to go onto the Supreme Court as judges. The NDC flatly rejected those offers and said they were not going to approve it. Their view was that the government should wait for the incoming John Dramani Mahama government to be seized with those matters and consider same and put them before the House. Following the abrupt adjournment of the House, the two sides have been trading blames. First, the minority leader, Dr. Kasiratu Forsen, says the NPP is to blame for this standoff.
the NPP government has failed to comply with Article 180 of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana to present the expenditure in advance of appropriation. In the spirit of good transition, it is expected that the outgoing president, acting pursuant to Article 180 of the Constitution, would have acted in good faith and bring before this Parliament a proposal for expenditure to cater for the first quarter of the year 2025. This was very important because the Appropriation Act for 2025 will not come into force on 1st of January 2025. There's no cause for alarm, ladies and gentlemen. Even though there will be no finance minister on the 7th of January 2025, the Vice President can present to this House the expenditure in advance of appropriation anytime after swearing in on the 7th of January 2025.
But in a sharp rebuttal, Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin says the NDC has been acting lawlessly in Parliament, insisting that they should not expect to always have their way.
We've had Supreme Court nominees whose vetting Parliament has concluded, and we are to table that report for motion to be taken on. They say they won't even allow the all-important free SHS bill. They again say they won't allow that to also be laid, let alone for the committee to take it for the bill to be considered, as well as the $250 million facility from the World Bank to support the financial sector. We've also had the 1D1F, where they themselves brought proposals to us, and government side accepted those proposals, which proposals led to the raw materials components being taken out, resulting in huge savings. And as a result, the committee completed its work. Again, the NDC lawless minority will not allow the report to be taken. We want to tell the people of Ghana that we as Democrats are ever ready to proceed to do this expenditure on account.
Well, the Christmas festivities are gradually shaping up in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, with many revelers readying themselves to relish the holidays. But some traders in Ghana's second largest city are lamenting low sales days before the season sets in. They attribute the slow market to the electoral loss that befell their beloved political party, the New Patriotic Party. Well, Emmanuel Bradkwego has more in this report.
Days into the 2024 general elections, Ashanti region's capital, Kumasi, buzzed with excitement from its youth. They had found a new toy gun and vuvuzela craze to prep them for the Christmas festivities. A few days after the December 7 polls, it is a mixed euphoria in the Garden City ahead of the Yuletide. The region, as a stronghold of the New Patriotic Party, was in anticipation of a victory for their beloved party to celebrate the season.
Whether good or bad,
we're celebrating regardless of the outcome of the elections. At the Central Business District of Kumasi, traders argue the NPP's overwhelming defeat is impacting sales. Traders who are into the sale of Christmas accessories like toys, hats, spectacles, and fireworks are recording dwindling profits ahead of the holidays.
Before election, supposed to have 2,000 or 3,000.
Before the elections, the market was good, but now you can barely break even.
To me, the market now is slow. Me huso kla. About no a higher. I'm accommodate.
If the elections had gone in favor of the NPP, market would have boomed.
Although economic activity seems slow in this part of the country, it is not stopping people from relishing the moments.
We must celebrate because God has been good.
Well, that's how we wrap up the bulletin. For more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Good evening.